What it do, YouTube? How you been doing? So, what are your thoughts on extraterrestrial civilizations within our own solar system? Would you put it past the government that already has lied to you about killing its own president to tell you if there were civilizations actually inhabiting Venus, Mars? So I watched this video. The channel is called Strange But True Stories or something like that. Link is in the description for that particular video, as well as a subsequent video from the same channel talking about 15-foot tall giants in Afghanistan. They call, well, the one that was killed by army personnel is called the Giant of Gandahar. You might be able to look it up. I'm not quite sure. Other than this particular video, I haven't heard it yet, so I'm running it by y'all first. But I know giants existed in the past, and I believe in Sasquatch. So it just stands to reason that there are giants elsewhere. And we have found skeletal structures of beings that have been 13, 14, 15 feet tall. So it just stands to reason that they do exist. And if we're not alone on our own planet, what makes you think we're alone in our solar system, let alone our galaxy, let alone his universe, right? So, the video that I'm talking about is about an individual who called himself Valiant Thor. And in 1954, he met with President Eisenhower, worked with the Pentagon for 3 years, and you could not distinguish him from another human being other than the fact that he had 300 additional centimeters of mass in his brain compared to a human brain, and his IQ was off the charts, somewhere around 1200. And his message was love. He preached positive solutions to all problems, and in fact, quote unquote, he called the Pentagon the most concentrated location of confusion he'd ever seen, ever experienced. Which stands to reason because, you know, it's 5 branches of military, and in the Air Force, when we're spotting another truck, it's called a spotter. But in the Army, they call them ground guides. Where's your ground guide? We don't even speak your lingo. And spotter is so much easier to say than ground guide. Sorry, Army. Just saying, I'm just calling it like it is. I know that we spawned off of you, but I would say that the better part of the Army broke away and became the the Army Air Corps was the precursor to the Air Force. And now, in many ways, we've kind of combined again because joint bases, such as Joint Base Lives Matter, JBLM, and I don't know how many, I think there's 5 to 8 joint bases, and this one's an Army-led joint base, which means grass never gets cut, everything looks like shit, because hey, that's how the Army rolls, right? No, it's not the way it's supposed to be. Anyways, off that soapbox, Valiant Thor, it's a 27-minute long documentary, more still imagery. There's pictures of this guy that were taken by photographs, and whistleblowers who later committed suicide or was suicided after he revealed this information about Valiant Thor. I think in the 90s, I'm not quite sure, don't quote me, because the documentary didn't cover something Schneider. I remember his last name was Schneider, I don't remember his first name, but he was a whistleblower. Anyways, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, how awesome would it be if our government lied the entire time about the temperature of Venus, which I guess is about half the distance as Mars. I mean, Mars would take 2 years to get to, Venus about a year. It's a lot closer. And I think it's 3/20th less the gravitational pull. But just bear with me for a minute. What if NASA, what if the government, what if they all lied about the atmospheric conditions of Venus, and there's actually a civilization that has 14 billion people there, twice as many as us, right? Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be amazing if we could start intergalactic, or at least inter-solar system trade with a neighboring planet? What if the Goldilocks zone, which is only good enough for Earth, anything outside of that, you're screwed? No. What if the Goldilocks zone is a lot wider than that? And what if Venus and Mars is extremely habitable, and we've just been lying to ourselves? Because if the truth came out, it would change our economic way of life. And that makes sense to me. That's why they wouldn't tell us there's other people in our solar system existing, living, thriving, while we sit here, suffer, and kill ourselves as well as kill others, or suicide by cop, or whatever's going on in the news today, or yesterday, or the day before. I guess it was Flag Day when a GOP softball game was shot up by a Bernie Sanders supporter. Go figure. Good job, Bernie. Feel the burn. I don't even know what to do other than pray about these situations, because it's a lot more complicated than any one of us can deal with. It's going to take a village in order for us to heal a village. Just imagine what life would be like if 50 million abortions never took place. Or flip side, what if you were one of the abortions that did take place and you weren't here? Man, that's a beautiful Dodge. I gotta show you. That is a beautiful truck. Man. It's not every day you get to see a beauty like that. Anyways, guys, those are my thoughts. Just want to know what you think about that. Are you prepared are you prepared for the revelation that we're not alone? I mean, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, for hundreds of years, since Christopher Columbus experienced extraterrestrial vehicle flying out of the water, leading them to Plymouth Rock. You know what I mean? Even though he landed in Cuba initially, if I'm not mistaken, then made his way up the shoreline. But he thought he was in India, so he named the natives Indians. And so now we're stuck with that false nomenclature. But, the extraterrestrials weren't telling him everything he needed to know, just telling him how to get to where he needed to get in order for us to all be here in America today. God bless each and every one of you. Take care.